Yes.
I totally agree with what you say about venture capital, but my question is, once we have a working product and the dollars are in and we're creating revenue, why would we then give 70% of the company to somebody else?
Well, first of all, you're not giving it. Okay? I mean, you're not being philanthropic. They are buying it. They are exchanging money for equity. But the larger issue is, I don't know why you...
I mean, like, why not a bank loan at that point? You have a...
Well, you can't do a bank loan because you have no real hard assets, right? You may have 10,000 people coming to your site and registering every day, but go to B of A and say, I have 10,000 people registering on my site every day. Can I get a line of credit of $1 million? They will laugh at you, right? Because B of A, in case you go bankrupt, they want to get something. They want to get the car back. They want to get the house back. They want to get, your gold bars back. They don't want to say, okay, so now, God, lucky us, we own this startup where 10,000 people are signing up. They don't want a free ATM card. I don't know. So it's still not going to work for a bank. But you might ask the tall, white, old person when he comes in, why would you take venture capital money? And I'll tell you what he'll say. He'll say, it's because we will help you build a better company. And you ask, well, how will you help me build a better company? I'll say, well, we have a Rolodex. We funded Amazon. We funded Yahoo, YouTube, whatever. So, when you have this new social media, digital content strategy, I will call up Jeff Bezos and I will get Jeff Bezos to put your product in the Amazon information store. Or I will make Jeff Bezos put it in the Kindle ebook store, right? So it's Rolodex. Secondly, they're going to help you with decision making because they won't prevent you from making mistakes. They'll teach you how to optimize your company. Now, you might ask, what's your background? And they'll say, well, I went to Stanford, went to business school at Stanford, then I went to Goldman Sachs, then I worked with Mitt Romney, and I helped with his private asset fund. And then I returned to Goldman Sachs. Then I went to Lehman Brothers. And then I joined a venture capital firm. Now, you might logically ask that person, so when the hell did you ever run or start a company? You might also ask that person, when did you ever have to fire anybody? Because that's the key. Did you ever have to fire anybody? And that person will probably say no. Then you would logically ask, well, how can you tell me how to run a company if you've never run yourself? That would be the awkward question at that point. What else could a venture capitalist do? So there's expertise they say they have. There is Rolodex. They might even say they were going to roll up their sleeves and help you. They're going to be coming in and working. You passed the IQ test, man. That's the proper reaction to that statement. I'm really painting this horrible picture of venture capitalists for you, but just understand that kind of that's the game. And everybody else in this valley will probably tell you, you need venture capital, you're going to add a lot of value, whatever. But really, what you want from them is money. Really. I mean, let's just be honest. You want their money. In a perfect world, they give you money and leave you alone. Okay, so let's discuss this perfect world. So they, quote, give you money for equity and they leave you alone. So how can you achieve that nirvana best case situation? And the answer to that question is, you need to hit your numbers. You can write this down. The most important thing I can teach you today is this. Sales fixes everything. Okay? That's all you really need to know. As long as you make your numbers, life is good. Investors leave you alone. Employees are happy. Customers are happy. You're positive and you're happy. Sales fixes everything. And many, many entrepreneurs, they do not internalize that thing. They think that there are strategic things that fixes everything, like vision, passion, and partnerships. Very bad words. Very bad words. If a very tactical piece of advice for you is try to never use the P word, partnership. Partnership translates to lack of sales. Okay, so if you say to somebody, well, we have this really great partnership with IBM, it means that you have not figured out a way to sell anything yet. Sales fixes everything. As long as you got sales and you have cash flow, you're still in the game. As long as you're still in the game, it sounds like a tautology, but as long as you're in the game, you're not dead. It's when you run out of money that you are dead. The leading cause of failure in Silicon Valley is death. And you die when you don't have money. It's kind of that simple. Yes?
About half of the people in this class are fuzzies or humanities people.
Yeah.
I know you said the prototype is where it's at.
Yeah.
So okay, so the prototype's there.
Yeah.
When it comes to team dynamic, how much do you value someone bringing a humanities element to the table?
Are you trying to say that engineers should are worth more than humanities?
Well, that probably, at least in the entrepreneurial landscape, I'm sure that's a fact. But I'm just asking, where's the value, or do you see value with humanities people on the team?
Well, I mean, if the humanities, first of all, I have a psych degree from this school.
So you're a fuzzy, at least a little bit.
Well, just so you know, when I was here in the mid-'70s, the easiest major was psych. It may still be true. Maybe it's journalism. So I went, I know I look like an Asian, but I went with the path of least resistance. Let me answer this question in a different way. Okay, so fundamentally in a company, you need two primary functions. Okay, so you need someone who can build it, and you need someone who can sell it. That's it. Everything else is bullshit. Okay? Somebody to build it, somebody to sell it. So if humanities is selling, and you're an engineer and you're building, perfect partnership. Woz and Jobs. Okay? Woz builds it, Steve sells it. That is the perfect partnership. If you have two people who can build it, then there's no sales. If you have two salespeople, there's nothing to sell. It's really quite simple. If you want to optimize your organization, add a third person, which is an adult. So now you have someone to build it, someone to sell it, and someone to manage the children. That would be even better. 3 points determine a plane, 2 points determine a line. Okay? So you might say, well, which is harder to find, a great engineer or a great salesperson? Probably a great engineer. But I will tell you something, man. One of the best educations you could have is to try to sell something. If every engineer had to sell something, they would have a much greater appreciation of how difficult it is, and it would improve their engineering. Because they would realize that in sales, I think engineers think, well, the way sales works is you build the coolest gadget and people just sign up. They're like, come to your door, they're begging you to take their money, right? And they would understand that in sales, it takes like 10 phone calls to get an appointment. The first time you show up for the appointment, the person doesn't show up. The other person doesn't show up. Finally, at the third time, you finally meet with the person, and you think you have an hour, but it's really 20 minutes, right? And in that 20 minutes, that person is on his BlackBerry or on her BlackBerry all the time. And then, they say, okay, so we'll follow up. And then they say, we'll follow up next week, and it takes a month. And, they understand how much rejection happens. And if you're an engineer who goes through that experience, I think you would design a better product. You would design a product that's more slippery to get into. You would design a product that is so intuitive that just catalyzes lust, not analytics. It would be a very good experience for them. Yes?
What do you think about Apple right now?
What do I think about Apple right now? To this day, I'm a loyal Macintosh user. I think Macintosh is the best computer operating system. I love Macintosh. I go to Apple Store whenever they come out with a new MacBook. I just stand in line, pick from retail, just like anybody else. I do not believe that iOS is the leading phone operating system. I think Android is better than iOS. So, just you and me, two of us. You're the only two? Yeah, I got you, baby. So yeah, I think Android is better than iOS. I think in many regards, Apple has lost the lead. That iOS was better than Android, but it's not true anymore. So,
Why though?
I'm sorry?
Why?
You want to know why Android is better than iOS?
Why do you think so? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, do you have iOS?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll tell you some things I can do, you
Well,
cannot.
I use both, but mostly
Okay,
I.
okay, so, who has iOS in this room? Who is Android? Okay, so, we Android people, we know that we could change keyboards. We can have a different keyboard. You cannot have a different keyboard. Okay? We know that we can make Chrome the default browser. You're stuck with Safari. You cannot make that default browser. We know that we can have an alphabetic listing of all the apps on our phone, right? You have to go look through folders or search by name for the apps. You don't know where the hell it is if it's buried in folders. I can go to the Kindle app, buy a book and read it. You have to go to Safari, buy the book, go to your Kindle app and refresh, because Apple has screwed Kindle. Apple has made it so you can't buy a book inside a Kindle, right? I can do a lot of customization. You cannot do a lot of customization. I can go to almost any hotel in the world and say, I forgot my USB charger. Do you have one that somebody left? You cannot, because Apple decided to change every freaking cable in the world just because, I don't know why. I don't know why. So, I just love Android. I think Android is more powerful, more customizable. It's just, whatever. Real men use Android. Let's face it, right? What else?
So I'd like to hear your take on the frameworks that we see. So there's a business model canvas, then the lean startup methodology. To what extent should wannabe entrepreneurs actually pay attention to them, follow them to the letter, or ignore them and do your thing?
The lean startup methodology?
And like these
Yeah,
frameworks
okay.
keep coming up.
I love the lean startup methodology. The concept of the minimal viable product is a great concept. In a sense, that's what I was saying. I'm saying build your prototype, right? The prototype is the MVP. I would offer a nuance to the MVP concept. I would call it the MVVVP. So I would add 2 more V's. So in MVP, the first V is viable. The second V I would add is valuable. Because you could have something viable, but not necessarily important enough, meaningful enough. I want something valuable. I want something that not only can live, I want it to change the world. So that's valuable. And the last V I would add is validating. Because you could have something valuable, and you could have something viable, but I also like it to validate my vision for what the world will be. So I really like the concept of the lean startup.
And frameworks in general. Like
Frameworks in general?
Other day there's a new model that someone else proposes for startups, how they should be doing things. This is how you organize a business model. This is how you draw.
I don't know. I'm less concerned about that. I think the great framework is this MVVVP. That is a very good concept. Basically, the concept is everything today for an entrepreneur is free or cheap. Don't raise capital until you absolutely have to. Build a prototype. Get it out there. Listen to what the dogs tell you about your food. Fix your food constantly. Keep going back out there. You'll figure out a business model. Catalyze lust. I'm not saying this guarantees your success, but I think that's as good as I can tell you today. And then, at some level, it's just pure luck. It really is. What else? I'm just going to turn this computer on, because I know I'm running out of time. I think it's attacking crash. Go ahead. Yes. I'm not running late. Do you care?
No, just
Okay.
a few more minutes and then we'll.
Okay.
There's
So-
your everything.
Yeah, it's I got the proverbial beach ball. It's because It's because I said bad things about iOS. Go ahead, fire away. Who had a question?
I wanted to know how Canva made you look.
Oh, how did that's why I want to do the demo here, but I can't get this computer to reboot. So while I struggle to do that, no, that's nothing down there. This literally, this.
Yeah, I'll bring mine.